Hello everyone, Margot's here. For those who are new to this show, welcome to a live stream of the French Cabaret. Today, this is an Edith Piaf tribute, and I'm more than thrilled to present to you the amazing Vitor Gonçalves on the accordion. This is a premiere for me to make a duet with an accordion player. It's such a joy as the accordion will fit so perfectly to the Edith Piaf repertoire. So I think we can maybe start. It seems that the sound is working. Okay, so maestro. Tu me fais tourner la tête. Mon manège à moi, c'est toi. Je suis toujours à la fête quand tu me tiens dans tes bras. Je ferai le tour du monde. Ça ne tournerait pas plus que ça. La dernière n'est pas assez ronde pour m'étourdir autant que toi. Comme on est bien tous les deux, quand on est ensemble nous deux, quelle vie on a tous les deux. Quand on s'aime comme nous deux, on pourrait changer de planète. Tant que j'ai mon cœur près du tien, j'entends les flonflons de la fête, et la terre n'y est pour rien. Ah oui, parlons-en de la terre, pour qui elle se prend la terre. Ma parole, y'a qu'elle sur terre, y'a qu'elle pour faire ton mystère, mais pour nous y'a pas de problème, car c'est pour la vie qu'on s'aime. Et s'il n'y avait pas de lui-même, nous on s'aimerait quand même. Tu me fais tourner la tête. Mon manège à moi, c'est toi. Je suis toujours à la fête quand tu me tiens dans tes bras. Je ferai le tour du monde. Ça ne tournerait pas plus que ça. J'ai beau chercher à la ronde. Mon manège à moi, c'est toi. Mon manège à moi, c'est toi. Mon manège à moi, c'est toi. Oh, what a delight. What a blast. Yeah, so I've been planning on playing with an accordion player with a long time. And, the hustle of New York, I was hoping, I think one or twice to play with Vitor, and we needed a pandemic finally to have the time to play together. No, I'm saying that. Okay, so today it's a special date for me because exactly 1 year ago, I was in this outfit for my premiere at Birdland Jazz Club in New York. It's a little bit emotional, I have to say, but thanks to you guys, I know that the Patreons are here tonight, and other people who are not yet maybe Patreon. There was a way, to continue and to still be in the music scene, and I feel very grateful that thanks to you we can live stream tonight. Okay, I'm going to put all the, I would say, talking a little bit more at the end, because I'm pretty sure you really want to know more about Vitor. And the life in New York. But we're going to keep that for the end of the show. For the moment, let's continue the tour of our beloved Piaf classics. Je ne sais pourquoi j'allais danser à Saint-Jean aux Musettes. Et quand ce gars m'a pris un baiser, j'ai frissonné, j'étais chippée. Comment ne pas perdre la tête, serrée par les bras audacieux, car l'on croit toujours au doux amour quand ils sont dits avec les yeux. Moi, qui l'aimais tant, je le trouvais le plus beau de Saint-Jean. Je restais grisée, sans volonté, sous ses baisers. Sans plus réfléchir, je lui donnais le meilleur de mon être. Beau parleur, chaque fois qu'il mentait, je le savais, mais je l'aimais. Comment ne pas perdre la tête, serrée par les bras audacieux, car l'on croit toujours au doux mot d'amour quand ils sont dits avec les yeux. Moi, qui l'aimais tant, je le trouvais le plus beau de Saint-Jean. Je restais grisée, sans volonté, sous ses baisers. Mais hélas, à Saint-Jean comme ailleurs, un serment n'est qu'un leurre. J'étais folle de croire au bonheur et de vouloir donner mon cœur. Comment ne pas perdre la tête, serrée par des bras audacieux, car l'on croit toujours au doux mot d'amour quand ils sont dits avec les yeux. Moi, qui l'aimais tant, je le trouvais le plus beau de Saint-Jean. Il ne m'aime plus, c'est du passé, n'en parlons plus. Ne m'aime plus, c'est du passé, n'en parlons plus. Ne m'aime plus, c'est du passé, n'en parlons plus. So, yeah, I'm so happy to share this new duet, this premiere with Vitor. We are going to have a look on other songs of Edith Piaf. Some of them are classics and you know them, and I'm sure I hear you from here, you know, singing along with us. I feel you. Some of them are very famous, some of them are less famous. You know, it's just a matter that, you know, sometimes some songs are turning again and over on the radio. And it makes a selection. It doesn't mean that they are the best songs, it's just that they're more exposed than other ones. So I really want to share two of them. So the first one is called T'es beau, tu sais. You are awesome. Handsome, sorry. You're handsome, you know. And this is such a very nice story that I really have to tell you a little bit more about this text and these lyrics. The first time I was hearing this song, I was in tears. It was such a beautiful text, beautiful lyrics, because she's describing as if she was a painter or an artist who could draw the man of her life, and she's describing with so much details, and really you can feel that she sees him so deeply in each little trait of his personality and every little shape of his heart. And the end of the song, when she's describing all of this, there is little conclusion, as if there was the narrator saying something. And the narrator says, "Oh yes, indeed. he was beautiful, he was good looking, but the poor girl, she couldn't see him because she was blind. And this is all about how with compassion and empathy we can really seize people in front of us and next to us. So this is absolutely a poem about true love that is not blind, that can see the truth of who we are inside. T'es beau, tu sais. T'es beau, tu sais, et ça s'entend lorsque tu passes. T'es beau, c'est vrai, j'en suis plus belle quand tu m'embrasses. Je te dessine du bout des doigts ton front, tes yeux, ta bouche. Comment veux-tu dessiner ça? La main me tremble quand j'y touche. T'es beau, mon grand, et moi, vois-tu, je suis si petite. T'es beau tout le temps, que ça me grandit quand j'en profite. Reste là, ne bouge pas, laisse-moi t'imaginer. T'as l'air d'être l'été, celui qui pleut jamais. Reste là, ne bouge pas, laisse-moi quand même t'aimer. Je pouvais même pas penser que je te méritais. T'es beau, tu sais, ça m'impressionne comme les églises. T'es beau, c'est vrai, jusqu'à ta mère qu'on est surprise. Tu me réchauffes et tu m'endors. Tu fais soleil, tu fais colline. Viens contre moi, il pleut dehors. Mon cœur éclate dans ma poitrine. T'es beau partout, c'est trop facile d'être sincère. T'es beau, c'est tout, t'as pas besoin de la lumière. Il était beau et c'était vrai, mais la fille ne le voyait pas. Ses yeux perdus à tout jamais, il en pleurait quand il guidait ses pas. T'es beau, tu sais, t'es beau, tu sais. Yes, as I said, it's really a beautiful song. And I apologize to the non-French speaker if I take a little time to explain a little bit of the background. But definitely, Edith Piaf was known for her voice that has a very specific color because of the specific journey she had in her life, starting in the street. And there was many other singers in the street. She could have stayed in the street and lived very shortly in the street. But somebody saw her and saw her talent and gave her a chance. And then she became a cabaretist. She played in cabaret in very small crowd. And then suddenly there was a really huge interest for the style of song she was advocating for, and it was called the realistic song. So we're going to get further onto that, but I would like to add my 2 cents on Edith Piaf, because very often we keep in mind that Edith Piaf was a very intense, dramatic singer. She really was, because she was advocating for this realistic song, who was the voice of the unheard, and for the first time in the history of the music, I would say, in the music scene, there was a place where people of poor people, very invisible people, who can have their story told through a songwriter, singer-songwriter. So that was a very huge breakthrough in the music history, I would say, where suddenly people were invisible and had exactly like Human in New York. You know, certainly this website and this project. And she was the Human in Paris of her time. So now let's go. I would say we are going to talk about the realistic song a little bit later on, but I'm so thrilled and so honored and so blessed. I feel very grateful to play with Vitor today. The recording is the star today, definitely. But the garden doesn't play by itself, so Vitor is a star. So let's go on 2 songs that really, I would say, one of the 2 songs that are accordion focused. Let's do that. Je revois la ville en fête et en délire, suffocant sous le soleil et sous la joie. Et j'entends dans la musique les cris, les rires qui éclatent et rebondissent autour de moi. Et perdu parmi ces gens qui me bousculent, étourdi, désemparé, je reste là. Quand soudain je me retourne, il se recule, et la foule vient me jeter entre ses bras. Emportés par la foule qui nous traîne, nous entraîne, écrasés l'un contre l'autre, nous ne formons qu'un seul corps. Et le flot sans effort nous pousse enchaîner l'un et l'autre, et nous laisse tous deux épanouis, enivrés et heureux. Entraînés par la foule qui s'élance et qui danse une folle farandole, nos 2 mains restent soudées. Et parfois soulevés, nos 2 orques enlacés s'envolent et retombent tous deux épanouis, enivrés et heureux. Et la joie, éclaboussée par son sourire, me transperce et rejaillit au fond de moi. Et soudain, je pousse un cri parmi les rires, quand la foule vient l'arracher d'entre mes bras. Emportés par la foule qui nous traîne, nous entraîne, nous éloigne l'un de l'autre, je lutte et je me débat. Mais le son de ma voix s'étouffe dans les rires des autres, et je crie de douleur, de fureur et de rage, et je pleure. Et traîné par la foule qui s'élance et qui danse une folle farandole, je suis emporté au loin. Et je crispe mes poings, maudissant la foule qui me vole l'homme qu'elle m'avait donné, que je n'ai jamais retrouvé. Muito obrigada, Vitor. Oh, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much. What a joy in the midst of the pandemic to meet new, amazingly talented musicians and see that whatever the culture, the country of the native country we are from, we can really bond instantly on good music. Second song that are not that well known or could have more exposure, and with a lot of modesty I'm going to give some exposure to this song, kind of. So this is a very cute one. It's called À quoi ça sert l'amour? What is love for? And I would say Edith Piaf for me was I don't know, a big, not discovery, but she really contributed to my choices to become a singer and to fight for being an entertainer and a performer, whatever could happen. She toughed it out the whole of her life. Her life is really like could be a book, and she was struggling with a lot to deal with. And she stand up, and every time she stood up, she was on her knee and she stood up anytime. Till the very end, she had one thing she couldn't give up. It was being in love. I'm not talking about love. Love with big L. She wanted to be in love like a teenager, like a young woman for the rest of her life. And some people wrote some lyrics for her, and in this song that seems to be very uplifting and very superficial in a way, it tells a lot about Piaf history. And what I found absolutely wonderful is that she dared to order this song and to play it with her last husband, who was 20 years younger than her. And remember that at the end of the life of Piaf, she was really looking and feeling much older because of all the tremendous amount of suffering she went through her life. And she didn't care about what people think about her. She didn't care about what people would, write or try to push her down about that. She decided to be in love till the very last moment of her life. And for that, I really want to celebrate that. It's called Ça sert à quoi l'amour, and she was performing it with Théo Sarafo on the Olympia at the very end of her life. Let's do it. À quoi ça sert l'amour? On raconte toujours des histoires insensées. À quoi ça sert d'aimer? L'amour ne s'explique pas. C'est une chose comme ça qui vient, on ne sait d'où, et vous prend tout à coup. Moi j'ai entendu dire que l'amour fait souffrir, que l'amour fait pleurer. À quoi ça sert d'aimer? L'amour, ça sert à quoi? À vous donner de la joie avec des larmes aux yeux. C'est triste et merveilleux. Pourtant on dit souvent l'amour c'est décevant, qu'il y en a un sur deux qui n'est jamais heureux. Même quand on l'a perdu, l'amour qu'on a connu vous laisse un goût de miel. L'amour c'est éternel. Tout ça c'est très joli, mais quand tout est fini, qui ne vaut rien, c'est rien qu'un immense chagrin. Tout ce qui maintenant te semble décevant, demain sera pour toi un souvenir de joie. En somme, si j'ai compris, sans amour dans la vie, sans ses joies, ses chagrins, on a vécu pour rien. Mais oui, regarde-moi, à chaque fois j'y crois, et j'y croirai toujours. Ça sert à ça l'amour. Mais toi t'es le dernier, mais toi t'es le premier. Avant toi y avait rien, avec toi je suis bien. C'est toi que je voulais, c'est toi qu'il me fallait, que j'aimerai toujours. Ça sert à ça l'amour. Very well indeed. Okay, so I told you that Edith Piaf was absolutely well known for a very specific gender of songs that became not a trend, but that became a gender of song. Okay, hard to do everything by myself. That being said, The song is called Accordionist. This is the climax of the show, as you can imagine. But this is the climax for many reasons of the instrument, obviously, but also because of the content of it. So what I said is that usually music was there for entertaining. Music was there for, the pleasure of very rich, wealthy family that could afford to support the music, right? And then there was a crossing between the popular music that usually stayed in the streets, and then suddenly the popular music became a part of the music industry. There is some pros, some cons. We could open the debate now, but what I'm saying is that, humanly speaking, suddenly there were some singers who were telling stories about prostitute, for instance, who nobody wanted to hear about. And she was telling how hard it was to survive in this environment and how life was so insignificant for these people because it was so easy to die. And this is a wonderful story where a prostitute is there and in the street, and she's beautiful, and she has a lover, and the lover is an accordion player. And each time to have a little bit of relief in her days, she comes to see him, to hear him playing, and she's fascinating, and she's touching grace at this moment. Then a little bit later on the second verse, it's explained that she's sad because the guy went to war, but she still has hope because when it's going to be back to normal, he's going to be back from war, and they're going to have a house that they're going to work together. She will not work on the street anymore. She will take care of the finances. He will be the boss. And then on the third verse, she's lonely in the street because the guy won't come back. So all the hope she was hanging to survive disappeared. So she is going to another, jazz club or a little bistro cabaret to listen to another accordion player just to bring back some memories. And here is what happened. La fille de joie est belle, au coin de la rue là-bas. Elle a une clientèle qui lui remplit son bar. Quand son boulot s'achève, elle s'en va à son tour chercher un peu de rêve dans un bal du faubourg. Son homme est un artiste, c'est un drôle de petit gars, un accordéoniste qui sait jouer la java. Elle écoute la java, mais elle ne la danse pas. Elle ne regarde même pas la piste. Et ses yeux amoureux suivent le jeu nerveux et les doigts secs et longs de l'artiste. Ça lui rentre dans la peau, par le bas, par le haut. Elle a envie de placer physique. Tout son être étendu, son souffle est suspendu. C'est d'une vraie tordue, la musique. La fille de joie est triste, au coin de la rue là-bas. Son accordéoniste, il est parti soldat. Quand il reviendra de la guerre, ils prendront une maison. Elle sera la caissière et lui sera le patron. Que la vie sera belle, ils seront de vrais pachas. Et tous les soirs pour elle, il jouera la java. Elle écoute la java, qu'elle fredonne tout bas. Elle revoit son accordéoniste. Et ses yeux amoureux suivent le jeu nerveux et les doigts secs et longs de l'artiste. Ça lui rentre dans la peau, par le bas, par le haut. Elle a envie de pleurer, c'est physique. Alors pour oublier, elle s'est mise à danser, à tourner au son de la musique. La fille que je vois est seule au coin de la rue là-bas. Les filles qui font la gueule, les gars, ils n'en veulent pas. Et tant pis si elle crève, son âme ne reviendra plus. Adieu tous ces beaux rêves, sa vie, elle est foutue. Pourtant, ses jambes tristes l'emmènent au boui-boui, où il y a un autre artiste qui joue toute la nuit. Elle écoute la java, elle entend la java. Elle a fermé les yeux, ses doigts secs et nerveux. Ça lui rentre dans la peau, par le bas, par le haut. Elle a envie de gueuler, c'est physique. Alors pour oublier, elle s'est mise à danser, à tourner au son de la musique. Arrêtez! Arrêtez la musique. Oh, I let you imagine how powerful this kind of song could have been at the time of Edith Piaf, Jacques Brel, and how much those performers were not only amazing singers, but they were actors, they were advocates, for the human soul. Okay, so this is maybe a little moment, absolutely, to take 2 minutes maybe to look at your comments, because you are always so nice enough to put some comments, and very nice comments. Okay. Derek, yes, it's l'amour. L'amour toujours, always l'amour. Hi, Scott. Yeah, I see Brian and Teresa. I'm so happy, Lila, you're here too. So I really want to thank all my Patreons that make this show possible. Seems to be dramatic to see it that way or to say it that way, but it's absolutely real. One more time, the pandemic hurt the music industry to a scale that it's hard to imagine. And as there are priorities about health, about economics, and about basic survival, I get the point that this mentioned nowhere, in the news, or very barely, because people say, oh, okay, do another job. I can't do another job. This is my job. This is my path. This is the reason why I get up in the morning. So, and I really, truly believe that we need art as the engineering of our society. So yeah, I still have to fight, and it's a battle every day. But this battle is made much more easier when I have the support of my Patreons. I would like to invite you, if you had in mind to support this show and to see another show. It won't be similar because I try to put a lot of variation on it, and I'm always inviting a new guest, different guests. I'm always, finding new ideas to put up some show. They are all different. But if you want it to keep going, please consider leaving a little consideration and support. There is the Venmo line, there is the PayPal line, and there is more, I would say, dear to my heart, the Patreon, because with regular little income or incomes, I can really keep going, and I can, plan for other show, and invest in gears, invest in also other people. They can help me for the video and so on, even though I have to thank Ricardo one more time, Ricardo Corazza. who is crazy enough to have accepted to be my husband, and to have I don't know, 2 full-time job in taking care of the show and taking care that I'm not disappearing at all in the music industry. Thank you, Ricardo. Okay, so that being said, nothing dramatic, but just I want to thank all the Patreons to make it possible, and all the future Patreon. If you feel concerned, you can be a Patreon from $1 or €1 on one, I don't know, Dove. Per month, not Dove. It's not a currency. Yeah, I mean, any currency will work, will do the work, and you can suspend the subscription anytime if you have an unexpected issue or whatever. But if a lot of people put a little, it will make a huge difference in my life and in the hope to keep doing what I love doing the most, singing and playing the harp. So that's why there is a little surprise, because we try to better the show each time. I am going to need a few seconds to change a little bit the disposition, because I was meeting Vitor and we were rehearsing, and suddenly he said, "Isn't that an instrument next to you?" I said, yeah, sure, but I would like, to put the accordion as the star of the show. And he said, "Yeah, come on, we could do a duet." And I said, yes. So, 1 second. Thank you so much. And so I'm back with another gear. We did it so smoothly and so elegantly, right? You're going to put it in the comment. That's it was as elegant as I don't know which reference. I have to work on my reference. Whatever. Okay. Yes, Brian, you should add a donate button in the chat. I really have to thank you. I don't know how many people are gathering together just right now, but each comment or each feedback are read. First of all, I take attention on those ones, and you can't imagine how it helps the show to better when you are commenting or when you are sending a message. Yes, what? Thank you. So Ricardo is telling me, so Brian, the thing is that till we don't have 1,000 subscribers, there are some possibilities on the YouTube that we can't have the possibility to do that. Also some videos, whatever. I'm going to save your time about that. But so spread the words, subscribe if you haven't done it, ask your neighbors and your entire building to subscribe even though they don't know me, till the moment we are reaching 1,000, and so we could, have more possibilities. Music. Le ciel bleu sur nous peut s'effondrer et la terre peut bien s'écrouler. Peu m'importe si tu m'aimes, je me fous du monde entier. Tant que l'amour inondera mes matins, tant que mon corps frémira sous tes mains, peu m'importe les problèmes, mon amour J'irai jusqu'au bout du monde, je me ferai teindre en blond si tu me le demandais. J'irai décrocher la lune, j'irai voler la fortune si tu me le demandais. Je renierai mes amis, je renierai ma patrie si tu me le demandais. On peut bien rire de moi, je ferai n'importe quoi si tu me le demandais. Si un jour la vie t'arrache à moi, si tu meurs, que tu sois loin de moi, peu m'importe si tu m'aimes, car moi je mourrai aussi. Nous aurons l'éternité dans le bleu de toute l'immensité, dans le ciel, plus de problèmes. Mon amour, crois-tu qu'on s'aime? Nous aurons pour nous l'éternité dans le bleu de toute l'immensité, dans le ciel, plus de problèmes. Mon amour, crois-tu qu'on Yeah, so yeah, it was a good idea from Vitor to do a duet for sure. So at the end of the show, usually when I was doing the Edith Piaf experience, I used to sing a specific song because there was some lyrics that were very international. The lyrics are. It's a little bit tricky, but maybe if we can maybe 2 seconds or 5 seconds rehearse together, we can find it. So the lyrics are. I know it's tricky, I know it's challenging, but I'm pretty sure we can do it together. You are at your place, you are in front of your computer, of your TV, but I'm sure at some point when I'm going to look at you, you are going to do with me, and it's going to be beautiful. I can hear it from here. Believe me. Okay. The last song, and then after we are going to have a few minutes to present Vitor, and there's a lot to say about the accordion, so that would be his moment. Let's do it. Sous le ciel de Paris, dans le cœur d'un garçon. Sous le ciel de Paris marchent des amoureux. Leur bonheur se pond sur un air frais pour eux. Sous le pont de Bercy, un philosophe assis, deux musiciens, quelques ballons, puis des gens par milliers. Sous le ciel de Paris jusqu'au soir vont chanter l'hymne d'un peuple épris de sa vieille cité. Près de Notre-Dame, parfois coule un drame. Oui, mais à Paname, tout peut s'arranger. Quelques rayons du ciel d'été, l'accordéon d'un marinier, l'espoir fleurit au ciel de Paris. Sous le ciel de Paris coule un fleuve joyeux. Il endort dans la nuit les clochards et les gueux. Sous le ciel de Paris, les oiseaux du bon Dieu viennent du monde entier pour m'aborder entre eux. Mais le ciel de Paris a son secret pour lui. Depuis 20 siècles, il est épris de notre île Saint-Louis. Quand elle lui sourit, il met son habit bleu. Quand il pleut sur Paris, c'est qu'il est malheureux. Quand il est trop jaloux de ses millions d'amours, il fait gronder sur nous son tonnerre éclatant. Thank you so much, Vitor. Muito obrigada. So for the people who don't know you and why is she saying obrigada to Vitor, who plays the classic of Edith Piaf perfectly? There is an answer to this mystery. I don't want it's really very, I'm not very quick, the time you want, but I would love to hear more when you arrive in New York and the many instruments you are playing, and you are also driving a show, and maybe at least something about the tradition of accordion in Brazil and how we could connect so easily because of the passion of the accordion.
So I'm from Brazil. I was born in Minas Gerais, but I grew up pretty much my whole life living in Rio. Grew up and lived in Rio for my whole life, almost whole life. And I came to New York on 2012, and I do play the piano as well, and the accordion. And yes, the accordion is very present in Brazilian music, and you have different traditions depending on the region. We were just talking to Ricardo. In the south of Brazil, there's a very specific and very strong and amazing accordion tradition, and they have their own genres and styles, and they are very influenced by the music of the border, meaning Argentina and Uruguay and Paraguay. I don't play much of that music, but I love listening to it. In where I'm from, you have a huge tradition in the music called choro, and in fact, there's kind of a choro scene here in New York, and I'm really active and part of it. We have a nice group called the Regional of New York, and I also play a lot with Anat Cohen, incredible clarinetist, and you can search for her project that's called Choro Aventuroso. Choro is Choro. So you see some nice videos there. And then finally moving north in Brazil, like the whole northeastern region, you have a huge accordion tradition of the forró music, Forro. And there's also a forró scene in New York. It's like a style that people dance to it a lot. It's like a couples dance. So yeah, look for places if you're in New York, and if you want to dance. I mean, these days it's a little bit tricky, but hopefully we'll be going back indoors soon. But that's it.
We're going to link every reference since you mentioned, and you have a show as well.
Show, not at the moment. I have my projects too. I released a record of my own. It's called Vitor Gonçalves Quartet. It's a jazz record. I also have a project where I play accordion. It's called Sanfonia Brasileira, referencing sanfona, which is another word for accordion in Brazil. And that's it. Yeah. So, and now we're kind of reinventing ourselves and doing these things and these live streaming, and that's great. It's a great way to keep the music going.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to link everything because the show is definitely to keep my project alive of doing some themes about songs and basically all the songs I'm picking are very about portrayal of people. It's really a human in New York, international music related, a lot with the swing, a lot also with Brazilian music. But the people who plug today know more about me, but this is what I want to share. It's why I moved to New York. This is a magical place where you have the most talented and the most engaged musician that would really travel and put their life on hold to be in this tiny community. You were mentioning choro and forró, and indeed, the music scene in New York is unbelievable because in a few blocks or in another venue, you can come to one universe to the other one, but all the musicians are communicating, I think, very nicely and very strongly, and there is such a level of the underground scene that it's a pleasure to introduce you and other people of this wonderful community. So all the link will be there, and I'm pretty sure the people who are looking at the show will be thrilled to discover new music and new album as well. Your two albums, your two projects.
Just let me just say
sure,
one quick.
absolutely.
No, because also you asked like how we communicate well in this music, and I mean, of course, when you think about Brazil, people think about bossa nova. It's very famous outside of Brazil. Samba, But in the tradition of choro, there are a lot of waltzes too. Influenced by classical music. So when we play these kind of French waltzes, I feel that there's a lot of connection to that world, and that tradition of Brazilian waltzes like kept going, like from the older masters of choro until I don't know, Antonio Carlos Jobim. There are a lot of like songs in Chico Buarque, for instance.
Oh, definitely.
Who also played a lot with the French language. He lived in France. So there are a few waltzes, kind of not in I wouldn't say in the French style, but with French influence. So I feel like there's a lot of connection in there.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Jean et Maria de Chico Buarque, for instance.
João e Maria or Joana Francesa, do you know?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like very French.
I didn't connect. It's very interesting. Yeah, and also what I discovered, being in my family who has some roots from South Brazil, that the tradition Gaúcha had a lot of poems with the music, and the intensity of the declamation of it reminds me so much of the intensity of Jacques Brel and Edith Piaf, for a weird reason. Not a weird reason, it's just that they are so advocating for the story they are telling. They are living the story. And when you have somebody in the Gaúcha culture, declaiming a poem with all the intensity of all the guts, it reminds me so much of those performers. So in any culture, there are really artists that are really putting their guts in the story of others to make sure this story is not forgotten. And yeah. So thank you so much. I know that we want to keep 1 hour.
If people have any questions, I don't know.
Exactly, absolutely. You are much better than me for the live streaming. So if you have any question, Guy, you can leave the comment, private message, or PM message, or whatever, and we will be thrilled to answer the questions. But other than that, stay well. Yeah. So Teresa is adding some suggestion about other kind of music to listen to. I'm going to look at everything of that just after the show. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for being with us today. I don't know why I'm talking to the iPhone. Thank you so much for being with us today, Vitor. It was such a pleasure.
My pleasure.
And it was easy, fun, and it was
great.
It was a blast.
First of many.
Yeah, exactly. And so everybody stay safe and well. Next month will be about swing. So we are going to be more about the 20s and 30s American, great American songbook tradition. And then it would be next month in January, Bossa Nova in French, or not in French if I'm getting better in my Portuguese. Okay, take good care. Stay well, safe, and reasonably happy. À bientôt. Au revoir.
Je me baladais toute bleue, avec au coin des yeux des larmes, de petites larmes. Elles coulaient de par deux sur mes joues et le long de mon cou. Elles me caressaient telles deux amoureux tout heureux, moins tristes qu'un chagrin amer. Ces deux petites larmes se dirigeaient doucement vers la terre. Quelle belle fleur des deux, c'est là. Offrir à ses pétales Je me baladais toute bleue, avec au coin des yeux des larmes, de petites larmes. Elles coulaient de par deux sur mes joues